Have you ever noticed that not every person who calls themselves your friend truly behaves like one? Sometimes behind a smile, there's something else. A quiet resentment, a subtle tension that doesn't fit the word friendship. We often imagine fake friends are obvious, easy to spot. But in reality, most of them are far more subtle. They don't announce themselves with open betrayal. They hide in small gestures, casual remarks, and a carefully maintained mask of politeness. Carl Jung once said, "People don't become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." That truth applies just as much to relationships as it does to our inner lives. To truly understand who stands with you, and who doesn't, you must bring hidden motives into the light. The foundation of true friendship is often described with words like loyalty, trust, and mutual growth. Yet research in social psychology shows us that not all friendships are built on these ideals. Psychologist Robin Dunbar, famous for his work on human social networks, revealed that while we may know hundreds of people, we can only sustain a small inner circle of genuine, emotionally close friends. Within that circle, loyalty is everything. But when someone enters that circle without true loyalty, the result is always disappointment. Fake friends thrive in this gap between appearance and reality. Outwardly, they pose as allies. Inwardly, they are driven by envy, rivalry, or unspoken resentment. Jung's concept of the shadow helps us see why. The shadow is the part of ourselves we deny, the envy, the insecurity, the fear we'd rather not admit. Instead of facing it, people project it onto others. And too often, they project it onto you, the very person they call a friend. Consistent undermining, the first sign of a fake friend, doesn't usually appear as open betrayal. It shows up in small, disguised ways. Consistent undermining. Unlike open hostility, undermining hides behind humor, advice, or even fake support. You share an achievement, and they say, "That's great." But honestly, a lot of people get that opportunity. You tell them about a success, and they remind you, "Remember last time you tried, and it didn't work out." At first, these comments seem harmless, even playful, but over time the pattern becomes clear. They aren't building you up, they're keeping you small. Research on envy shows that when people feel threatened by another's success, they often minimize or devalue it. Fake friends disguise this envy as advice, sarcasm, or jokes. Jung's theory of projection explains it. The insecurities they cannot face in themselves, they throw onto you. The result? You leave conversations not feeling supported, but doubting yourself. Slowly, this hidden resentment erodes trust and confidence. And here's the key. Real friends also critique us, but to help us grow. Fake friends critique us to hold us back. That difference may be subtle, but it is everything. Absence when it truly matters. If undermining reveals itself in your moments of success, the second sign of a fake friend appears in the opposite condition, in your moments of struggle. A real friend may not always be present for every small event, but when life tests you, their presence is steady. A fake friend, by contrast, has a pattern of vanishing when you need them the most. Psychological research on social support shows that reliable presence during hardship is one of the strongest predictors of resilience. But when someone disappears in your darkest hours, their absence says more than their words ever could. They may return when life is easy, when there's fun to be had, or benefits to gain. But in times of pain, they distance themselves. Jung believed that suffering strips away masks, revealing the truth of a relationship. And the truth of a fake friend is that their loyalty was never real, it was built on convenience, not care. Bringing it all together, if the first sign reveals how they act when you rise, the second sign exposes them when you fall. Together, they complete the picture, undermining disguised as support during your success, absence during your struggle. One chips away at your confidence when you rise, the other abandons you when you fall. Together, they expose false friendship. But this recognition is not about becoming cynical or distrusting everyone. It is about cultivating clarity. Jung reminded us that by making the unconscious visible, we free ourselves from being controlled by it. When you recognize these patterns, you stop confusing friendliness with friendship. You learn to set boundaries, to walk away from what drains you, and to nurture the relationships that help you grow. Friendship is one of life's most valuable treasures, but only when it's real. By noticing these two psychological signs, undermining and absence, you protect your growth and preserve your peace. And once you see these patterns, you cannot unsee them. Now I'd like to hear from you. Have you ever noticed these signs of fake friendship in your own life?